All right, so we can get started. Hi, everybody. My name is Zara Rubio. I'm the Zone Program Manager. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Zone, or if it's your first time tuning in to one of our virtual programs, the Zone is our student well-being lounge here on campus. And we offer free well-being programs and resources for students. And right now, because we're operating virtually, we're offering most of our programs via Zoom online, but typically we also provide a space for students to relax and de-stress. And hopefully in the future, when we're able to come back into campus, we will be able to open up the space for students as well. And today our program is called Financially Savvy, and we have partnered with CalFresh to give you all a brief overview about what the CalFresh program is all about. And so we have our special guests here, David and Kellyanna. So I'll go ahead and let them take over. Thank you so much for tuning in and being with us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zara. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We're super excited to give y'all a rundown on some of the CalFresh basics. My name is David. Me and my coworker Kellyanna, we're from the Hub Basic Needs Center. I don't know if y'all have heard about it, but basically what the Hub Basic Needs Center is just a space that dedicates resources to giving students the availability to meet their basic needs. So anything from food security to housing security to financial security, we provide the resources. So CalFresh is just one facet of this, and I'll talk about more about some of the additional resources that we have available on campus through like the hub and the pantry at the end of the presentation. But for now, we'll just go ahead and introduce ourselves a little bit and get right into the presentation. So I'll go ahead and switch to the next slide since it is an overview of our team. We're a little bit of a small team. There's only 5 of us, but we have grown pretty exponentially since last year. So my name is David. I'm like our senior employee. I've been with CalFresh for over a year now. And I'll go ahead and let Kellyanna introduce herself too.
Hi everyone, I'm Kellyanna. I'm also one of the CalFresh Outreach Assistants. I've worked with this is my first time working with CalFresh, but I've actually been with Basic Needs at UCSD for over 3 years. I worked at the pantry, so I have some experience there. Associate Vice President of Food and Housing. So yeah, I love working with Basic Needs. I'm very excited, and thank you so much for sharing space and time with us today. And thanks, David. Back to you.
Awesome, thank you, Kellyanna. Yeah, so Kellyanna and I have both been sort of invested in basic needs on campus for a few years now. And so it's great to be able to be here and share everything that we've accumulated while being at UCSD with y'all. So this is our team. It is kind of a small team, but you know, we're students like you, and we're here to help y'all out with managing student life with, you know, just regular life and figuring out how to meet your basic needs and find food. That's something we can all relate to, is just needing to find food and find access to food. So let's get into it. Rest of the presentation, I want to set out some objectives for y'all, what we'll be talking about. So first, we're going to go over some of the basics of CalFresh. I'll talk about like what it is, how to use it, stuff like that. Next, we'll jump into like eligibility, and specifically for UCSD students. Student eligibility is something that looks a little different than regular CalFresh eligibility. So we'll talk about that. I'll hand it off to Kellyanna to talk about what applying looks like. We'll go into some brief examples of some things you might need to submit, you know, things that students might get hung up on, just little stuff like that. And then Kellyanna will also go over some of the additional perks and benefits that you might be able to access when actually receiving CalFresh benefits. So that's super interesting. And then at the end, we'll also have time for a Q&A. So if you think of anything or have any questions while we're talking, you can go ahead and just ask us at the end. You can also type your questions in the chat and we'll get to them during the Q&A, whatever works for y'all. So let's jump into it. So what is CalFresh? If y'all don't know, CalFresh is California's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also called a SNAP program. It awards those who are eligible with monthly grocery benefits based on individual need to help supplement their food budget and buy food. And actually the total for months benefits that you can get every month just got raised by $10. So it was $194, but now it's $204. So that means you could get up to $204 every month to spend on food. It doesn't encompass all food, not like hot food from like fast food restaurants. You can't go and buy stuff like that. But it is groceries. So you can take it to markets and buy groceries, which is great. Next, we can look at who's eligible. So eligibility, getting into that, like I said, sometimes student eligibility looks a little bit different. So usually under who qualifies, we see people like immigrants, you know, you have to be a US citizen or legal permanent resident, things like that. We have seniors qualifying, disabled people, SSI recipients. Particularly what will look familiar to all of y'all specifically is the student category. So we can look at that a little bit more in depth about what it means to be defined as a student under CalFresh. So first of all, you need to be between the ages of 18 and 49, enrolled at least half-time in an institution of higher education, and physically and mentally able to attend school and work. So that's like the most basic thing, just like being the right age at college, obviously, and you know, able to actually go to school. Additionally, with this, I think one of the parts where people get the most hung up is thinking about these different student eligibility exemptions, which is what they're called. So you only need to meet one of these. These are things like receiving Cal Grant A or B, being approved and accepted for a federal work study, working 20 or more hours a week or an average of 80 hours per month. Those three are the most common for students to hit one of them and likely be eligible for CalFresh. This whole list, this is like the whole list that we have here. There are other things like the McNair program, having dependent children within certain ages, receiving CalWorks, things like that. If you have any questions about any of these things, again, you know, you don't know if you're eligible or not, I would recommend that you reach out to us, because oftentimes we do have people who, you know, they might not understand that they have things like Cal Grant or federal work study on their financial aid award letter, and then we talk to them and we can get it all sorted out. So definitely, if you have questions, reach out to us, please. Now we're going to look at how to apply, so I'll go ahead and hand it off to Kellyanna for a little bit so she can talk about this.
All right, thank you, David. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of ways you can apply, what you need while applying, and such things like that. So we can move on to the next slide. And yeah, so there's two ways we kind of prefer you to apply. First, you can apply independently. That's more than okay. There's a link there, and you can find that link on our website, and you'll go through the application. There's also on the basic needs page, you can find more. I'll link that. Yeah, so you can find tools to help you if you are applying by yourself, such as what documents do you need, which we will talk about in a little bit, so don't worry so much. Documents, what will they be asking, what if I'm not ready, what if it's concerned. So while you're going through the application by yourself, we also have something called Talk To. It's a little chat bar if you go to our website, so someone can actually answer your question there now or really soon. So it's really great, especially if you get stuck on a question there, because it all happens, and you can actually ask for help. And then you can also apply with us. We have, as you've seen, like 5 CalFresh outreach assistants, and we're more than happy. I always have a great time having one-on-one appointments, so please feel free to schedule an appointment. You can go to calfresh.ucsd.edu to apply. And yeah, so next slide. So you're applying for CalFresh. What will you need? Well, you'll need a couple of required documents, which I'll also link the FAQ for that here. Docs, and I'll go over what these mean too. So first, you will need some kind of valid picture ID. Keep in mind, you don't need to do front and back of these. All they're looking for is your picture and your name. So yes, your student ID does work, and it could be as easy as during the application using your phone to take a picture. Your financial aid award letter, so if you do get Cal Grant A or federal work study, they do want to see a copy of that, and you can find that on Triton Link. And like I stated, on Basic Needs, our Basic Needs website, you can find more information about this. There's tons of it out there. But you also need your CSAC if you're doing Cal Grade A or B. That gets a little tricky with people. But like I said, we're more than happy to help and understand these issues. So please feel free to reach out. I guess for this one, they only require if you're paid or like having a job. So proof of income, pay stubs, income, receipts for the last 30 days. That's where we make sure you don't have to give us 1 year. 30 days is enough. And if for some reason you don't get paid through pay stubs, we can help you find other ways. And then next slide. And then a couple more required documents. Proof of rent or leasing agreement's a big one. So if you do live off campus, the first 1 or 2 pages of your leasing agreement, if you sublease, we can help you with that too. Like, that's not an issue. We really love helping students with this type of things because they can come a bit tricky. Now, let's say you live on campus. You're going to need your housing contract, and you can reach out to HTH through this email for it. You will need to fill out a signature of tenancy, which you can find out on our website. It's really short. It's just like releasing your information to them and allowing them to get a housing contract. And then the last thing, probably the easiest, proof of student status. The biggest thing with this, make sure your name's on it. A lot of people just screenshot and move on. You have to make sure you like print it so your name shows up with their schedule. And yeah, there's a couple documents. So after you do that, what's going to happen? And then next slide. So after you apply, you're going to receive in a physical mail an interview appointment within the next 2 weeks. Keep in mind that the number is usually blocked. 1 or 2 times it's not. Don't freak out. They just find a phone they can use and call you. And it's only going to be 15-30 minutes. They're just verifying everything's there. If you have any more issues or concerns, and then within a week or so afterwards, you should hear back from them if you're approved or denied. There was cases where students don't even get a phone call and just get approved. That's also okay. Like, we like to always make sure to let you know each case is different. Everyone has different things going on, and it's okay. You know, it's not all going to be the same. So after you apply, this is what's going to happen. If you get approved, that's great. If you get denied and you think that there was an issue, like, we really want to help. Please reach out and see what we can do for you. And so if you do apply and get approved, we can, awesome. So you're gonna get EBT and a PIN number in the mail in 2 different mailboxes. And after that, it's very similar to a debit card. You can use at most grocery stores. Like, on our website has tons of good information if you haven't like caught on yet. You can find like places where EBT is accepted. Farmers markets are accepted. A lot of places on campus accepted. Sunshine Market just became one of a new place. So I think this is very cool because I know it's in the center of campus and very different from the dining halls. So once you get approved, you can do that. And if you're approved, you have additional, next slide. And once you're approved, there's additional perks and benefits we want to talk about that you are able to use with your EBT. So these programs, you can find more in depth on our website, but some things we really like to talk about. SDGE is really cool, 30% off, especially if you're living off campus. Amazon Prime, Market Match, restaurants, meal program. These are all resources for you once you're approved. And there's a couple more. Yep. Mass Fresco is a really fun one to look into. That's really beneficial. Lifeline program, Museums for All. Birch Aquarium is included in that for free admission. It's right there. So it's a really great time. And then I think that's it for me. I'm going to pass it back to David to talk about our next webinar. Thank you all so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Kellyanna. Yeah, like she said, more information on all of these programs is available on our website. So if you're interested in any of them, there's like links there that takes you to like the website for the program, like if you want to sign up. Just remember that this is for people who have already been accepted for like EBT CalFresh benefits. So you'll have to like put in your card to qualify or whatever. But just to let you guys know in case you're interested. Next, I just want to talk about a little bit of stuff that we have coming up. So we try and host, apart from these webinars, which are more like presentation style, just giving y'all info. We also do application assistance webinars where we get like the majority of our team to sit down and like walk through the application and answer any questions while we actually have students applying to CalFresh Live. Obviously, all of that is like confidential. You don't have to worry about other people like being able to, you know, interact with you or whatever while you're applying. So we try and provide like basically one-on-one assistance to as many people as possible at once. So we have one coming up. It's going to be an in-house hosted one. So it's just us at the hub. It's next Friday, October 30th from 12 to 2. You can register on our website. I'll also, Kellyanna, if you can drop the link to the registry in the chat, that'd be great. So if y'all are interested, maybe you want to go ahead and register, like, and see if you want to apply, that'd be great. You can attend and we can help you out. Next, I want to go over just a few additional campus resources like I said I would. You know, maybe for people who are on campus, you know, you can do like in-person food pantry pickup. You know, even if you're not on campus, you can always go and do the food pantry pickup, but it's a really, really reliable source for students, especially if you're on campus. They have perishable and non-perishable emergency food. They're also working on doing some sort of delivery program. They're getting that up on our website pretty soon. There's going to be a little bit of time lag between when you submit your order and when you can actually expect to get the delivery. But you can definitely go on our website and look into that if you're at all interested. The Hub Basic Needs Center itself is still operating as normal. Obviously our space is like closed down, but we still have like our basic needs assistance form for assessment in case you need like additional assistance. Obviously we still have virtual CalFresh assistance. We do still have in-person food recovery and food distributions. So I do have a little bit of extra information I can find if anybody's interested on that. They're doing them, I believe, at OMS and in Hillcrest. But again, that information is available on our website if you want to make sure like times and locations and stuff. We have our EMAT program still, Emergency Meal Assistance, for if you need emergency meal assistance. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Also still doing personal care products. You can go to the Hub and do a pickup. All of that information as well as on our website if you want to fill out the form. And then we're still trying to do our budget-friendly cooking demos with meal prep. We haven't had any this quarter so far. I know we're still like only week 3 into the quarter, so not a lot has been happening this quarter. But we do from last spring up on our Facebook. I think it links to like YouTube. We have some like a series that one of our basic needs assistants did that was all Pakistani food. So if you're interested in going and looking at some cooking demos that we've done and maybe getting excited about some future ones, those are up on our Facebook. And then additionally, we have some other food assistance. So if you go to our website, you can find an affordable grocery store map with grocery shuttle routes to help you figure out where, if you need to figure out like where to shop, where has EBT access, stuff like that. And then as well through the UCSD app, the free food notification system to let you know if there's any events that has leftover food on campus and, you know, is distributing to students. I think that's something that is not going on really right now just because of, you know, the whole pandemic and everything. So we might not see that as much currently, but in the future, I'm sure it'll start back up again. So these are all of our resources. And then I just want to open it up for any questions, just to see if we have any questions. I'll leave this slide up that has like our website and our email and our phone number so that y'all can take it down if you're interested. But I'll go ahead and see if we have any questions in the chat now.
Yeah, and feel free to like unmute yourself or raise your hand to also ask a question if you want. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, so we're planning on having this Zoom uploaded. So we're recording right now, obviously. It's all going to be confidential, obviously. The chat won't be shown. But we're going to have it uploaded on, I believe, YouTube. I think Zara knows more about this.
Yes, so the session is being recorded and it will be uploaded into our YouTube channel. So I can go ahead and send a link to our current YouTube channel. So when this gets uploaded, plan on uploading it sometime tomorrow afternoon. So you should be able to view it again.
Awesome, thank you, Zara.
Okay.
And then any other questions, y'all feel free to either just type in the chat, raise your hand, unmute, anything really chill, you know, you can speak up if you want to, no big deal. We'll just have a little chat now. We'll wait for some questions to get typed in. Just give it a minute or so. I can go ahead and talk about eligibility in the meantime. You know, like I said earlier when I was talking about eligibility, sometimes students get really hung up on, you know, what it means to be a student, what it means to apply. I also want to mention that, you know, since things are kind of crazy right now, we have a bunch of different people in a bunch of different places. Maybe you're not on campus, you know, maybe you're not like even in San Diego when you normally would be. So one of the things about CalFresh is they have this weird stipulation that says if you are a student and you're trying to apply, but you're under 22 and still living with your parents. So say you moved home because of the pandemic and you're living, you're trying to apply through your parents' residential address. If you're under 22, you'd have to apply as a household. like an entire household, as in with your family as well. But that's only if you're under 22. That's something that sort of trips students up sometimes, like especially recently, just because with, like I said, everybody being in different places. There is, ways if you plan on coming back to San Diego. Obviously, you don't have to be over 22 always to apply to CalFresh independently. Like if you're 18 and you're, living alone, you can still apply like as a household of one. So stuff like that. There are some variability in like the way things are working right now. But we do have a lot of really comprehensive info on like how things have been functioning for students and stuff like that. We have an FAQ page on our website and a little COVID info page as well. So if you're interested in like seeing what sort of updates or what stuff looks like right now, you can always go to get the latest info there. It doesn't look like we've had any more questions come in. If anybody wants to speak up, definitely just go ahead and like interrupt me or something. I'm totally just like, waiting to answer any questions that y'all might have. Otherwise, Zara, you can go ahead and send out the poll that you wanted to send out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. So before you all head out, if you don't have any more questions, I'd like to ask you if you could fill out a quick poll. It's about 5 questions, so it really doesn't take too long. I'm going to go ahead and launch that now. If you can answer that for me, that would be really great. And if you have any questions while we have the poll up, again, you can unmute yourself and ask your question or pop it into the chat box. And David and Kellyanna can definitely answer that for you. But thank you all so much for joining us and spending your afternoon here. We hope you find this really useful and that you really utilize this really awesome resource. It's great for students. It's really helpful for you. That can even alleviate some financial stress that you might be undergoing, or even just make things a little bit more comfortable for you, especially as students, and especially during this time when there's a lot of uncertainties and a lot of stress that could be happening in different facets in our life. Having something like a CalFresh available for you to use as a resource can alleviate some concerns or stresses that you might have. So we hope you take this information and find it valuable and attend the follow-up webinar, right, to really get a help step-by-step of those, how to apply, and really make sure that all of your questions get answered by the CalFresh team.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Zara. I just want to say thank you for allowing us the space to do this, to get the word out. And I want to thank everybody for, tuned in and listened and hopefully got some useful information. I hope it was really useful to all of you, and I hope that you'll be in touch with us if you're interested.